The newest best deck is here. Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. Today we're taking a look at Dracotail. I'm going to give you a quick rundown, a basic combo, and a general understanding of how this deck functions. First and foremost, the deck functions around fusion summoning, which is pretty simple, but by utilizing monsters in hand specifically, and then all of the monsters set a card when they are used as fusion material. On top of that, 5 mana can quick effect fusion summon either during the opponent's turn or during yours by discarding itself. Mululu also has the ability to quick effect fusion during the main phase, pretty solid as well. And then Lucius is a standard searcher. We also have things like Ketu, which is one of the craziest cards ever printed. It adds like a Rhoda, and then also has the ability to, if your opponent controls a card, fusion summon as well, which is pretty crazy. We also have Rahu, which fusion summons as well, similar to that of Branded Fusion. Very powerful cards overall. And we also have these two bricks, which are basically just an additional form of interaction by allowing you, if used as fusion material, to not only set a Dracotail spell trap, but also pop a card. Urgula allows you to pop a spell trap, and Pan allows you to just pop a monster. Then they also have graveyard effects that do come up fairly often. They also rely on their traps, obviously, because they set spell traps, all of which are fairly weak, but they're so easy to get to that for the most part, it's the fact that you consistently get access to them that makes them so powerful. And in tandem with Gulamel, they become additional points of interaction where previously you may not have had any, which is what makes them even better, right? By the way, Gulamel and Arthurion, or Arthalion, both have the same requirements of a Dracotail monster and a monster in hand, which is pretty nice. Now, notably, Arthalion has the ability to use multiple monsters in hand, and that is because you could target monsters on fusion summon up to the number of monsters used as material and return them to the hand. So you do have a way to kind of like board wipe if you use multiple monsters, or more than two, I should say. However, both of them have the effect where if two or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in the grave, they special summon themselves. Pretty solid. However, Gulamel also has the ability to like pop a card. So there you go. Those are the two monsters. We also have this newer card, which we are likely to get as well, since it's currently available in the OCG, but is not available in the TCG. And it's not great, but it's something. And that's pretty much what the deck is aimed to do. Fusion summon out these guys to basically trigger your other monsters' effects to set your traps and kind of go from there. You're not really doing this big combo. In fact, most of the time, you're doing two summons, which is one of the big benefits of this deck, especially in a format with the Roach and with Fualos and with all of these other myriad of ways to draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, this doesn't play into either of those or any of those other big hand traps, which is one of the big things that makes it so powerful in the current metagame. There's not a single trap that really, or a single card, I should say, that really slows it down, and that's kind of why it's dominating right now in both the TCG and the OCG. So let's hop into that combo, and let me show you how this deck performs. All right, so this can be done with Lucius and any monster. That's why we have Maxi here. So I'm going to start off here by going Dracotail Lucius here in order to add to our hand the 5 mana, and then we are going to use the 5 mana effect immediately in order to go into our fusion monster. So we're going to activate the 5 mana and go into Arthalion. Arthalion first, just because I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, but we're going to go for the Arthalion first. Oh, it does matter. I'm lying to you. Arthalion does have the effects to actually add a card back, because it does say you can target monsters on the field or grave up to the number of monsters used from hand. So there you go. Anyway, we're going to go and activate the effect of the Arthalion to add back the 5 mana, and then we're going to activate the effect of our Lucius. I should probably have reversed this. I don't know if it'll matter too much, but I probably should have. We're going to actually set the Rahu here, and then just add back the 5 mana. And here we can just activate the Rahu and activate its effect to go into our Arthalion. And we're going to send to the graveyard the Urgula, which notably, sorry, first and foremost, we get to activate both of these guys' effects. We're going to activate the Urgula to set, and then we also would have the ability to pop a spell trap, but we're also going to send the Urgula here for a different reason other than the spell trap pop. But then we also get to the 5 mana here. So with 5 mana, we're going to set either Sting, Horn, or Flame. Likely Flame. Flame is just the best one here because it negates that spell, which is very, very powerful. I also think that Sting is probably more worthwhile in the current format rather than the Horn, though Horn also gives you the ability to kind of force the opponent to summon in defense position. It doesn't really force them to, but it can be a problem for them, especially if it's a powerful monster like one of their own fusion monsters or something of that nature. So Horn or Sting, both are very worthwhile overall. Anyway, now that we have that, we also then get to activate the Urgula to put it back onto the bottom of the deck and add back the 5 mana. So now we have the 5 mana in rotation for a follow-up play later on, allowing us to use our Thalion's effect on summon for later. If we have a monster in hand, we just get to do this. Any monster, again, any monster in hand, we just get to then go 5 mana and then fusion summon away our Thalion to go into a different Arthalion and bounce additional cards. On top of the flame, as well as the sting, which can draw us into additional monsters. It's pretty solid. And then on top of that, if we activate one of our effects, we also get to chain to our own in order to go for the Gulamel to pop an additional card as well. So it's a lot of smaller points of interaction, but because they all in tandem work so succinctly, you generally have, I mean, that was what, 2 cards in hand, right? And with 2 summons, it's very difficult to stop this from happening. And then you also have to play through the hand traps. You have to play through the very powerful board of just like big guys and a fairly consistent secondary play of like 5 mana or something else of that nature. So that's generally what makes the deck so powerful, is that while yes, it's not a insane end board like with Malice, but it is very strong in what it puts out very quickly, which is very nice. And I think in a best of one of the big benefits that it has as well is the fact that going second, it does have the ability to draw 5 mana and just kind of play on the opponent's turn, you know, getting multiple points of disruption out immediately, which is very solid. So there you go. All right, we're back with the deck, and what I will say is, first of all, don't look at this deck list. This is a deck list I threw together in literally like 30 seconds. So don't look at it as like the definitive way to play this deck. Again, I just kind of threw it together. The important thing to note is how the deck plays. Is this going to be a playstyle you want to play? I thoroughly enjoy this style of deck, so I know that I will enjoy playing it, and I already have enjoyed playing it in other such formats and stuff like that, so I think that it's pretty cool. But with that being said, the second thing to keep in mind is that it is like the meta deck, so if that's something that also maybe turns you off or makes you want to play the deck, there's that as well. I think definitively it is going to be the best deck in the room post ban list, post release, right? So there you go. I think this is a really cool deck. I'm very excited for it. And yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.